Welcome behind the scenes. This is my home YouTube studio. This is where I do all my videos for Down with Astronomy and Cosmic Curiosity. And today we're going to do a flight sim upgrade. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome. So let me just give you a quick tour of the setup here. This is my Constellation Alpha. Had this for years. Usually just have it here on the plate that comes with sitting on the desk. Next to it I have my what is that, Mongoose T50? Yeah, Mongoose T50, sitting over here that I've been using. But Whirlpool recently sent over a lot of gear, and we're gonna be upgrading the studio today, including moving the throttle over to this one, which is over here, which is also a Constellation Alpha, but with their new Z-Extension, making it into an omnidirectional throttle, which is gonna make this really, really awesome. We're gonna mount it all with desk clamps here on the side and all that. So if you haven't guessed already, today's video is sponsored by Whirlpool. But of course, we need to get rid of the existing equipment. All these cables, they are zip tied in behind and cable managed behind the screens. That needs to come out. Also, my Tobii eye tracker is currently just plugged into the side of the keyboard because I was running out of USB ports. So I'm gonna have to run that back towards the back of the PC. We're gonna get desk mounts in. But what I also want to do is, as you can see up there underneath the lamps, I have my VR sensor for my Oculus Rift, a similar one over there. But after Frontier pretty much dumped VR support for Odyssey, I haven't really been playing that much in VR, so to free up some space, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to take these down. But that's the first thing that's going to happen. Get rid of the old equipment, get rid of those two sensors up there, and then we can begin to reinstall all the new stuff. That is all gone, a lot cleaner to look at already. Looking forward to having less cable clutter on the desk. Next step is going to be we're going to have these things mounted. These, of course, the desk mounts from Whirlpool. These specifically are the V4 S, I believe. They have a mini one that's even shorter here in the stem, or whatever you want to call that, and they also have an L1 large one that goes even further if you want to have a long extension or something like that. But what I want to do first is I want to figure out how high up this platform here is. Right now it's in the lowest position. As you can see, you can move that up with the different indents. I've already adjusted this thing to the table. There are bolts back here where you can go. We can go have a quick close look at this later, how you adjust this. But you should be able to just put that in, lock it in place like so, and there it is, nice and stable. So what will happen is this joystick here is going to slide in like here. And I now need to figure out if that height there is fine. So right now I can already see this is slightly lower. I actually want this up. Actually, if it was standing on this, it would probably be a better height for me. Yeah, that feels better. So that means I need to move it up about the height of the base. Okay, let's go ahead and let's take out our box of tools from Whirlpool. I can see I'm gonna probably need like an Allen key. That one fits there. And what is this, spanner? I don't know. So I haven't tightened these in very hard. Actually, I only hand tighten these because I knew I had to go and do measurements. So we can go and we can untie these bolts here. That comes out. We can do that with all four of them. Then we're gonna move this up 1, 2, 3 places like so, and just quite simply put the bolts back in. With that done, and it's now in its new position, we can put this thing aside and we can begin work on the actual throttle here itself, or joystick throttle. I guess it's a bit of both. We're going to need a new Allen key here because what you can see is there is this two slots here and here. They are gonna basically, and a hole here, they're gonna line up with those 4 screws there. So I have to take out those two, I have to loosen those 2 in there. I can then slide this in and screw it all in place. So first step is to get the right size Allen key, of course. There we go. All that is now loose. So now I should be able to just slide that in place like so. And then just not completely tighten, but just get these down so that they are tight enough that they can hold it in place while we screw in the 2 other screws. Okay, let's try this. We're gonna take this, we're gonna, make sure that it's actually open. We're gonna slide that in. I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but I'll probably make some kind of markings on the table so I can position it the right place every time. I'm just gonna slot that in there. And then if I'm sitting here, a little bit further back probably, like here, that is actually very comfortable. Raise that up a little bit, like so. And now I have, this is gonna be straight left and right. This is gonna be forward, backwards throttle. We're gonna have a lift axis by twisting it, and we're gonna have a descent axis by twisting it the other way, and then with all the extra triggers. Obviously it's not plugged in yet, but the plan would then be, once you're not using it, you just open that up, slide that over there, lock it in, and it would be out of the way. Okay, next we just have to perform the exact same operation with my existing joystick here for the right hand side. I'm gonna put that over there. I'll just quickly check, because Whirlpool sent over more desk mounts so you can see what they look like when we actually unbox them. We get a box. Go ahead and take this out of, right, okay, so of course I managed to open up the wrong box. Let me show you why. Because Whirlpool also sent over a bracket like this, which is designed for throttle mounts. So underneath the throttles from Whirlpool, you will notice there are 4 screw holes that will line up with these slots here. And the idea is you can then take your throttle, put it on there, screw it in from the bottom, and then in a similar fashion, that will then slot in there, and you can then have a throttle mount. So they actually send over 3 desk mounts. I'm not sure if I'll put up a throttle. I think I will start by trying to go just dual stick with the Omni throttle. Yeah, here we go. Here, of course, we have the base that's gonna fit there. And we have this, which is a cover plate for the bottom of the throttle. Just gonna take that out here so you can see. So when, of course, you take your throttle here and you screw off the bottom plate here, there's gonna be opened right into all the mechanics inside. So to protect that, they include this base here, which will then fit there once we remove this base plate. Okay, and with the last one out of the place, we actually get a very good look at the inside here of a Whirlpool joystick with all the little ball bearings and everything in here. It is beautiful. And this is also where you would open it up if you want to. Then you would take the whole assembly out of this casing, and you can then swap out the cams, which they do come with somewhere over here. There you go. So you have different cams here that you can swap these out with if you want a slightly different force profile. Then you can swap these out. These come, of course, included. Let me just show you how you actually adjust one of these desk clamps. In here you have first a little knot, and then you have this larger one. And what you basically just do is you loosen that up, and then you adjust it by rotating it, screwing it down, and then you test it on your desk by putting it in, locking it in. So it's too tight, so I need to move that further down, or move that lock knot or that spacer up on it. Just keep rotating that and keep trying it again. And I actually think I got it pretty well. You can see now it's not moving. It might be, maybe I want it a little bit tighter, like so. And then I'm just gonna screw that down, test it again. There we go, that filled, yeah, there we go. That's super nice. So all you have to do now is just go and tighten that down, and then just use the little included spanner. There we go. Lock all that in place, and now that is ready to go, and we can now take our joystick and figure out where we want this to be installed. There we go. Both installed. Now, however, of course, cable still needs to be routed, that kind of stuff, but I'll do that last. There is another decision I need to make, because I have these 2 control panels from Whirlpool that they sent over a while ago. So here's what I'm considering. These panels, if you remove the legs, they are designed to be mounted here on the side of these things, like so. And of course, similarly, you can put them out on the outside of it if you want to. So, and they can be like out here. You can have them. I think you could even have them in there, but then they will interfere with. But if you put them on the side, then this should be fine. So what I need to decide is, first of all, which one should be where, and which side they should be, because I could either go with it both over here and clamp them on the side like this, which is one option, but one that I think I'm slightly more likely to use is to maybe mount one like that and then one like that, because I think that would be a better option. Now the thing is with the control panel 2 here is we have this landing gear lever, allows you to lower and take the landing gear up, and I'm afraid if I put this in here, yeah, so I'm going to interfere with that if I put that there. So that one probably needs to be on the outside. That means I could put that one out here. But regardless, what we need to do is there's a few prep steps we need to do. You can see here, first of all, the legs need to be unscrewed, obviously, so they are gone. And then secondly, what we need to do is, you can see the connectors for it is up here on the top. And when I put this in here, I obviously don't want the cables to come out the top. That's not going to be very pretty. I want the cables to be down here at the bottom. VarBRD, of course, has thought of this. So if we unscrew the 6 bolts holding the top in place, we can take the whole thing off, rotate it 180, and then put it back down again. And therefore, we're going to have the connectors at the bottom instead. And that means that effectively the frame is going to be like this. And then we can probably also take this nameplate off and then turn that around so that it's facing the right way when we are going to mount these ends. Okay, here is the setup I've ended up with. Obviously, it hasn't been plugged in yet, but I ended up using the third desk mount to mount both of them here in the center. It means we can get enough space between these that this panel here is now not interfering with my throttle over here. Let me just get you guys over here actually, so you guys can get a better look at what's going on. So over here, I have my omnidirectional throttle now, forward, backwards, side to side, up, down. I have the 2 panels in here with my landing gear and all these small switches here. I'm planning to in Star Citizen basically have these marked to like engines, shield, power and weapons. So whenever you basically have to turn on the craft, you just go flip all those switches and then you have the craft turned on. You can turn off modules individually. That's gonna be super cool. And again, plenty of dials and knobs. And one thing I haven't done yet that's still on my to-do list is, as you can see some of these down here, they have like a special background. And they come with these like basically stickers that you can take and you can put in there. I haven't done that yet, but the plan is that all of these buttons here is all gonna be have some kind of icon in them to kind of backlight them with whatever functions I want and have some general functions. And then obviously I have the last joystick over here. So that's gonna be the setup. All cables are now mounted here underneath, or they will be at least, and then I can route them in through the actual thing itself and then into the back somewhere to make sure they have enough slack so I can also move them out of the way to that side of the table whenever I need to. So about a month has passed. I've done some testing with the setup and there's a few things I want to change. Let's just show you the problem here. When I take this and I loosen it up, move it over here, and it will kind of be somewhere in this area here. And you can then kind of imagine that you could, similarly, I could take this joystick here and move it in, and let's say that is there and this one is around here, right? So we have a setup that's kind of the flight setup as we're flying. Most of it is fine. Problem is, both in Elite, Star Citizen, you have to go on foot, and you kind of get this weird transition where ideally I want to sit all the way back here, but whenever I have to go on foot, I have to like scoot forward in order to get into the keyboard, and everything is kind of in the way, and it's super awkward. So I wanted to move the keyboard from here and have a solution where I can have it both on the desk when I need to use it as a desk, but also put it down here. But as you can see, this is already very low. This one actually just goes to my legs. So here's what we're gonna do today. I got this from VarBRD. This one I bought myself. This is a little adapter kit for these panels here. So if we open this up, so what we have here is we have these brackets, look something like this. And the idea is that this bracket will go in here, up here on the top. And then this bracket will go on here, like so. And then these two panels here can be merged together using these brackets here. So there are some like metal brackets. You have to screw out the screws and you can basically merge these two together as one bracket that will then go out here. That means that these two panels will not only come up as they are going to be higher off the floor, also going to come out a little bit, which I think is fine. That's going to clear some room underneath here. And then my plan is to use this, which is originally their bracket for a HOTAS, or for a throttle. So the idea is you put that in there, like so, and you mount a throttle on it. But my plan is to, instead of mounting a throttle on it, I'm going to mount basically like I brought a piece of shelf at like a hardware store, and then I'm going to have a wireless keyboard. Mouse is already wireless, so that's fine. Wireless keyboard, I can just take the keyboard down, put it on the shelf here, and I'm going to have that in the middle. Okay, there we go. Look at that. It is now bracket mounted on the back side, and this is now one solid unit. So now this should just be able to slide right in there, something like that. And then they will be mounted, as you can see, a lot higher up. Okay, there we go. It's now mounted. I also put this bracket in down here. I don't know if I showed you this in the last video. See if the camera will focus. There we go. See, I got little icons in here, got those stickers set in. They're behind the plastic, so they're behind the top layer, so you don't really touch them, so they're not gonna get worn out. I have all kinds of stickers on this now. And another cool thing is you have this panel here, so when I lower my landing gear, those lights turn green. Or if I decide to go and flip these switches, look how the lights change over there as well. So I can sit and power on and off modules and move landing gear around, those kind of things. That's pretty cool. So now I just need to find a shelf. But first, let's talk about the keyboard, because obviously the keyboard I have now up here is wired. I had this for years, and that's not gonna do. I need something wireless. So let me show you what I got. I got this. This is I think it's the Acer Claymore. I think it's called Claymore. But what I like about this keyboard, detachable wrist wrench, which is not really the reason I got it. First of all, it's wireless, but it has an option to be plugged in, so I can charge it while using it on the desk. But I really like my numpad, so I do have a numpad on it. But look at this. Click that off, and now the whole numpad is gone, making the keyboard a lot less wide, because that's going to be one of the issues. Is I'm going to be low on like horizontal space here. But as you can see here, when it goes on down here, if I put it out here, where you maybe ideally wanted it, I'm gonna interfere here. And especially when it comes up a little higher, when there's a shelf on it, that's gonna hit the keyboard. So I need to move this out a little further, but I think I'm also just gonna move the keyboard in slightly so it's almost centered. And I'm still gonna need to have room over here for a mouse. So it's gonna be tight, which is why I wanted a as narrow keyboard as possible, or as wide, narrow, I don't know, as short keyboard as possible, I think is the best way to say it. But I'm gonna try to see how far out I can put these with it still being comfortable. I think I also want to try to see if I can adjust this angle on the throttle over here to kind of maybe lift that up a little bit so it doesn't go down as far. And there we have it. It is done. Look at that. Isn't that a beauty? So as you can see now, still plenty of room here for my hand. You have your mouse over here, nice big area for the mouse pad. Of course, it does not interfere with this at all. There is a small amount of interference over here with one of the top buttons there. So my plan was just to put that out of the way like that, and then whenever you are flying, you have plenty of room here to maneuver that stick around without it interfering with anything. And whenever you go on foot, you just pull the keyboard out to the side like that. And again, you still have fine access to everything above here. And then of course, since I have my monitors now quite far away, so there we go. So whenever I'm actually going to play, I can just take the monitor and move it forward like so, so that is actually at a comfortable distance from my playing position. And just like that, I have myself a brand new, very, very nice flight setup. I am really happy with this. Easy, fast transitions from on foot, and with the armrests on the chair, you actually have a very, very comfortable playing position. I am really, really liking this setup. It is super, super cool, and I'm really looking forward to actually taking this out and trying it out in space. Again, it's just finished now. I haven't tried it out yet, but yeah, that's gonna be the next thing. And finally, I just want to say a huge thank you to Whirlpool for sponsoring most of the gear that you're seeing here today. I'm really looking forward to this. Really hope you like this. If you did, remember to like the video below. If you want more space content, then go down, subscribe to the channel. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I will see you guys in space.